patrol. To conflate the two forms of service is to confuse categories that mattered greatly at the time. Indeed, a major goal of this book is to show how the war tended to erode the dual military system, a shift that is illuminated by the controversy surrounding underage soldiers. To best tell this story, we have retained language that reflects the distinction that Americans continue to draw between volunteer forces and the professional Federal Army, even as differences between the two became increasingly blurred. Introduction. Monroe Township, Missouri, was a hotbed of secessionism, but Union sentiment ran strong in the household of John Gudgel. Just 4 days after Federal troops arrived in the area in mid-June 1861, the family's youngest child enlisted in a Home Guard unit. By fall, 14-year-old Julian M. Gudgel was determined to join a proper regiment. Although his father foiled his first attempt, he ran away again a few weeks later and managed to enlist in the 18th Missouri Infantry. He claimed to be 17 years old. Julian was just one of more than 200,000 youths below the age of 18 who served in the Union Army during the Civil War. Constituting roughly 10% of Union troops, and most likely a similar proportion of Confederate forces, though surviving records allow for less certainty, these young enlistees significantly enhanced the size and capabilities of the armies on both sides. They also created a great deal of drama and chaos. They upended household economies by absconding with their vital labor power. They caused loved ones to suffer untold anxiety for their welfare, and they generated myriad encounters between ordinary people and the institutions of government, at times resulting in dramatic showdowns between military and civilian authorities. Family members, desperate for their son's release, showed up at military camps to confront officers, appealed to judges for writs of habeas corpus, and petitioned elected representatives and government officials. When such efforts failed, many embarked on costly and often futile quests, chasing after regiments on the move, combing city streets near enlistment offices, or traveling to Washington to plead their case in person. These conflicts would ultimately have far-reaching consequences, not only for the individuals and families involved, but also for the battered nation that emerged from the war. Yet for all that has been written about the Civil War, we know little about its youngest soldiers, and even less about the parents who so doggedly pursued their release from service. Consider John Gudgel's attempts to recover his son. He first sought the help of a general stationed in the area, who assured him that Julian would soon be sent home. But 6 months later, Julian had not been released. In a letter to U.S. Representative Francis P. Blair, Jr., Gudgel explained that he was a stalwart Union man and would not have intervened had his son been older and more experienced. But given Julian's youth, he begged Blair to consider a father's feelings. He described his special bond with his youngest child, whose mother had died soon after his birth. He explained that his son suffered an infirmity that would be aggravated by the southern climate, and he pointed to the hard times afflicting farmers in his region, where a terrible drought had parched the fields and baked the earth, so we can't plow old ground at all. Yet no matter what Gudgel emphasized, his social standing and loyalty to the Union, his emotional distress and economic woes, Julian's age and delicate health, he could not get his boy discharged. It should not have been so hard. After all, the law was on his side. When Julian enlisted, minors below age 21 legally needed the consent of a parent or guardian to enlist in the Union.